Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the author interviews for the amazing contributors in the Younger Self Letters. If you haven't already picked up your copy, I invite you to get yours. This is a dynamic book, and we're going to hear a little bit more of the backstory of some of the contributors today. So welcome, ladies. I'm so excited that you're here.
Hello. Hi, Adriana. Hi, Tosh. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
We have Australia in the house. You know, I like my friends over on the other side. So let's start off with this. I want you just to take a minute. Tell us a little introduction. Who are you? What do you do? Rosie, I'm going to have you kick it off.
Okay, so I'm Rosie. I'm actually a multi-six-figure entrepreneur, a world-renowned coach and speaker over the last decade. So I predominantly work with leaders and entrepreneurs globally, and I help them grow their impact-driven business and get them to their next level of leadership, success, and wealth. So I'm pretty much in about 12, maybe 13 different countries all around the world at the moment. So I'm known for and recognized for being the transformational leader in healing inner wounds to unlock business success. So that's where I'm at, and that's where my expertise kind of lies. So.
Excellent. Well, I'm so glad you're here. Taryn, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Taryn Reeves. I'm the CEO and founder of Four Eagles Publishing and the publishing house Concierge. And I work with high-level entrepreneurs to create best-selling books that act as lead magnets that grow their business with ease. And my specialty is creating an amazing reader experience that converts book sales into clients.
I love it. Welcome. Tarsh, tell us about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tash. I am a business coach and the CEO and founder of Ashwin Publishing. And I work with dynamic innovators and business provocateurs who are ready to share their story with the world and grow their business.
Excellent. I love it. This is why the book's so good, because we've got people like you. So I want to talk a little bit about the story that you chose to write in the Younger Self Letters. I know that we asked you to go beyond what you would typically write in a business book or what would be expected of you. So I would love to hear what inspired the particular story that you shared. Rosie, why don't we start with you?
For me, this was really big because I went from timelines to timelines to timelines. I started off in all the different directions trying to work out where and what, and the initial. And I remember I actually sent you 2 versions, Adriana, to go, I don't know what to do, because I did go and I did take the strategic road first. And I realized that that wasn't what was on my heart, and that wasn't what needed to be shared. And so what I decided to do was essentially share a more recent version of me, because no one ever talks about the middle bit, where it gets messy, we all want to grow straight up, right? And we see every successful person out there, every single kind of leader going, well, how are they making it? How are they getting to the top? Without actually realizing that it's really, really messy in the middle. They don't get to where they are without going through their shit as well. And so it was really conscious, and it just kept coming on my heart. You need to talk about the part that no one else is talking about. So that's where I did. And for me, it started, and you'll see it was the most important bit for me, because it was a couple of years into my business, and that was where I hit a plateau. So my business was in the red. My relationship, I was in a marriage that I knew I was coming to a crossroads in. So it was like everything was in my face. And I had already moved my first mountain. I called 2 mountains, and this was my second mountain. And for me, the shift that I made was, and this is what I talk about, the choice point, when you choose the moment right in between the ending and the beginning, when you choose like who you're going to be and choose what your life is going to embody, and then you choose what stage you're stepping on. You choose that, being fully expressed and wealthy and owning that and being who you really are in the world. That is a choice. And so that for me called me into a very different lens, and it took me to strip everything. That means my title as wife, as coach, as sister, as all of it. not even as a coach. I mean, that's like, who is Rosie without even being a coach, even an entrepreneur? Because entrepreneurship is actually a journey. And within that journey, you decide to be a leader, right? So all of that actually made me into the leader that I am. I had to remove the armor, I had to remove the label, and it was that point. And it was this month, so we're in August now, it was this month, 5 years ago, where all of that point that I came, that precipice, that second mountain that I came, where nothing was the same again. And I essentially went through a major awakening, and I died at the hand of truth. And that was my rebirth. And so that's why what I needed to share, because many coaches, many leaders, many healers, many therapists, many entrepreneurs get to like halfway or 80% there and they give up. And this is where I really wanted to speak to that point of not giving up, that point of, yes, it's going to take you. And so what I went through in my journey, everything that I went through was that I could speak, so I wasn't afraid. When it came to sell, I was doing it with integrity. When it came to make moves, my intuition was dialed in. When it came to rallying my community, no problems. But it took me to that in order to get me to here. So yeah, that was for me, and why. Big, it was everything.
Yes, such a powerful story. Thank you for sharing it. Taryn, what about you? What inspired the story that you chose to write about?
So I actually chose to write about a more recent period in my life. So it was only a situation last year and the beginning of this year as well that I chose to write about. So it's not like, even though it's a letter to my younger self, it's a very recent younger self for me. And it was all about trusting your intuition and your inner knowing, even if it looks crazy on the outside. So I had already built a 6-figure business. I had a global client base. I had a global team. And the opportunity to start my own publishing house came up. And I've always been a massive book nerd. Like, to me, books are life. Right? I've got no linen in my cupboard. It's just hoarded books, right? Because I'm scared I'm never going to get the opportunity once I see the title to read it again. And when the opportunity came up, it was kind of like, yeah, I can do that. You know, this is possible to do something that you're so passionate and in love with in your personal life, as well as making money from it and helping others express. And, you know, on the outside, it looked crazy. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I was earning good money. I just, stabilized everything, had the team members in place. I was in the middle of selling my house, buying another house. I was living with my parents in the basement. And I had a 4-year-old still, she's now 5, who doesn't sleep, and a husband who works away a lot. So it was like, what are you doing? Like, really, what are you doing? And it's about taking that leap of courage, even when it doesn't seem to make sense. But if you have that knowing, it's about going, something will catch me. And if I break it, I can fix it. And it was all about that journey and those feelings. I suffer from major anxiety and, the panic attacks I was having over this whole thing, but about harnessing that courage to do it anyway.
Absolutely. Yes, it is amazing to witness that. And that's what has carried us through so many points of our life. Thank you for sharing that, Taryn. Tarsh, what about you? What inspired the story that you wrote?
Well, my face down moment on the bathroom floor 4 years ago, which was pretty much the biggest crossroads I've ever come to in my life. I had a 2-year-old. I was suffering with I was processing. It was suffering. I was suffering with really terrible postnatal depression. And I decided to pick that time in my life because I feel like, it was the story that I was absolutely terrified to share. That's why I chose to share it. So, yeah, it was a moment for me where, sliding doors, and I could have made a decision that would have, ended my life. And I decided not to, based on a very spiritual experience that I had in the bath that night, where I really felt my team, my unseen support team, really rally around me. And it was probably the most powerful and potent spiritual experience I've ever had, actually, just to feel the connection of the other side at a time when I was desperately needing their support. And so I spoke about this in my chapter, and the initiations that I've experienced through birthing my babies, both of them, one of whom has just arrived. I don't know, buddy, but I'm on a call. Can you ask Dad? Timing. So motherhood as an incredible initiation. Nothing has tested me more than that, and birth for me has been two of the most incredibly challenging and yet empowering experiences of my life. Two very different experiences. So I spoke about this in my chapter, and how, if I hadn't have gone through what I went through back then, and, the years of dealing with the shame around that, I know I wouldn't be doing the work that I do now with my people. And so, I really equate being in publishing, publishing books to be a birth. It's a birth, right? It's very similar energy to birthing a child. And when we publish a book, we go through the labor pains exactly like we go through the labor pains in labor. And I drew a parallel there in my chapter around how, when we put a book out into the world, especially when that book is an expression of our soul, it's an expression of, the message that we are here, the reason why we're here on the planet at this point in time, at this point in history. When we write books like that, whether that's chapters in a multi-author like this one or our own book, it's a birth, it's a labor, it's an initiation, and it takes us to, it brings us face to face with the biggest challenges and breakthroughs that is, available to us.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you sharing such a personal and profound experience. And this is what we learn when we contribute, right? We think, oh, I'm going to write 3,000 words. Oh, yes, I will write what I know. I will write from my head. And the whole experience brings you to those deepest moments. And you lay that on a page for others to participate in.
It forces you there, because you don't have this. You've got okay, we've got to go to where it matters, where the gritty. Yeah, yes. Tasha's story.
Got 5 books to get there, though, I will say, or 4. No, 5. It took me 5 books to get there. All the other books I was sweating around. I was like,
It's layers, right?
Layers. That's right. So many layers. I want to welcome those who are watching. Please let us know in the comments where in the world you're joining from. Whew, yes, big stories. Thank you, ladies, for writing the story that your soul was ready to share, writing from your hearts. So I know that you all do big things in the world, and I would love for you to share with our listeners what I call the $1 million question. How does your business make the world better? Rosie, let's start with you.
Ooh, it's a big one, because it does, right? So much. Yes. How do you sum it up in the thing that it is, and the power of what we do, the transformation that each one of us in this room actually provides. So I like to think of myself as the woman behind the woman and her business. But you may not always see me, but you see them growing and causing that major ripple and expanding. So they're the leaders, scaling their companies, their business. They're disrupting the status quo. They're bringing in more clients. They're selling more products. They're standing on stages. They're the ones changing the world. I am too, but the ripple of
you are.
So yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tash. But my job is to help them come into the full, who they really are, is to help them change themselves. And when I unlock their true self, this is where it's really at. Everything skyrockets in that. when they actually are being, and the biggest thing, especially in women, us feeling safe to be seen as we are, when we're feeling that, and when we are our true selves, whew, to be an authority and to be that go-to, and that is impacting everything. So essentially, I do strategy, but I also do a lot of the deep work. So it's the combination of the inner healing and the strategy that has then really skyrocketed into their growth. So and this is what's helped me personally, because I've been through so much personal trauma and struggle. And when I actually did that work, that was how I skyrocketed. And so I impart that to others, and they're also quantum leaping. So essentially that's what I do, and knowing that success is an inside game. That's really the key. Yeah.
Absolutely. Always an inside job. Taryn, what about you? How does your business make the world better?
So I am passionate about making the world a better place. And I know that's quite a broad kind of statement to throw out there, but I believe that when good people make good money, we do good things with it, right? So we don't want to make 7 figures so we can go and buy 7 Lamborghinis, 3 mansions, and a yacht. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the type of person that I work with wants to earn that kind of money so that they can start not-for-profits, so that they can have freedom of choice to buy ethically made clothing, to buy organic food, so that they can start charities or movements. And, you know, I'm so passionate about that I've aligned my business with 1% for the planet. So we donate 1% of all revenue, that's not profit, it's revenue, to environmental and social causes. And it's not enough to just, with books, it's not enough to just vomit words on a page and just send it out there and hope that it has the impact that you want it to. It's a very transformational process that you go through when writing. And that's what I work with my clients on. It's holding them and guiding them through that birth, like Tash said, of a book and a story, and telling it so that it inspires, it impacts, it ignites the soul of their ideal client, so it results in sales, right? And books are the perfect teaching tool. It is how humans have learnt since the dawn of time, is through storytelling, because you can tell somebody, you know, you want to impart some information and you can give them the very blank stats, right? And they're probably not going to remember it. They'll be like, oh, that's interesting. And they'll wander away and, you know, do whatever. But if you tell them a story and it impacts them and it reaches out through the screen and it touches their heart, they're going to remember that, right? So that information is going to be retained. So it's all about amplifying those voices, using books as teaching tools, and also having them result in sales so that the entrepreneur can make impact in the world and make those choices with the money that they're earning.
Absolutely. I love it. You guys have me all snotty-nosed and teary-eyed. Gotta get myself together over here. Tarsh, tell us how. Yeah. Tell us how the world is a better place because your business is in it.
I see the work that I do in my business, and the clients that I work with typically are pretty disruptive entrepreneurs. They have a message that it goes against the grain. It does challenge the status quo. It seeks to, whether that's like dismantling old paradigms, disrupting their clients' mindset, or, you know, disrupting entire social norms. The people that I work with, my business helps the world become a better place because I provide a platform for my clients to share their raw, unfiltered, highly disruptive message. And I know there's a lot of people out there and a lot of platforms out there that would have a disruptive message be turned down or toned down because it might upset, it might cause problems, it might cause disruption. But I say turn it up. I say, you know, let's not tone down the frequency of your message and the potency of your truth, especially for people who feel like this point in time in history is why they've been doing all this work. This is what we've been working for. It's a very very interesting time. And so, yeah, I believe now is the time that we need to really be expressing the highest version of our truth and publishing that to the world.
Absolutely. Yes, we most certainly were born for such a time as this.
Oh, yes.
So now that we've learned more about what you do in the world and those that you serve, I would love if you would share one thing that's on the horizon for you. This could be professional, this could be personal, anything that you'd like to share, something that you're looking forward to, that you're excited about. Rosie, tell us one thing that's coming up next for you.
Oh my goodness, there's so much. So let me just think.
Yeah, I know. It's like just one.
There's one thing. I'm actually really excited about creating a certification. So I'm in the middle of, yeah, I know, it's so exciting. Yeah, so this is big coming up. Everybody has been coming to me saying, we want to learn your processes, please teach us. And so it's happening, and I'm very, super pumped about what's coming up.
Oh, that's amazing, Rosie.
I know.
Here comes more expansion.
Huge.
I love it.
Yeah.
Taryn, what about you?
Good question. I get excited about so many different things. I'm just excitable. Corporate Dropouts is my current multi-author book project open for applications. So I'm super excited about that. I'm excited for my morning coffee. I'm excited for my solo book group program coming out, and I'm excited to be developing my garden and spending more time growing my own food.
I hear you. We have this herb garden that Derek just did, and it's just so fun. It's just so fun to go out there and pick your own food, right? I love it.
Like it.
Tarsh, what about you?
I'm excited. I have a really exciting new program that's kicking off in September called Oracle Unleashed. 6 months to write, publish, and launch your solo book. And I'm really excited about that because, as the name implies, this is all about connecting with your inner oracle, the part of you that knows exactly what to say, has the gumption to back it up energetically, and is ready to get the book that's been sitting in the birth canal for decades, to get it out into the world. So that's what I'm really excited about. And we have an amazing veggie garden that my partner's been working on during the lockdown. I'm excited about that too.
Gotta love that. Amazing.
I love that all of this is taking us back to our roots, right? It's good.
Totally is, yeah.
So it's a good thing. So I know that you all have a freebie as well that you can share with the audience. Rosie, who is your freebie perfect for?
Anybody, everybody. The leader, the entrepreneur who's ready to actually break through those glass ceilings to get to their next level. And in order to do that, we need to unlock your true self. So I'm gifting everybody a powerful activation to unlock your true self. This is literally the first phase of healing that I take my private clients through. And I'm giving that to everybody as a thank you for your support in the Younger Self letters. We couldn't have gotten it where it was without everybody supporting this. So,
absolutely amazing. Taryn, what about you? Who is ideal for your freebie?
Sorry, my dog has just decided to come and snuffle under my feet. I promise that's not me. So my freebie is, it's a guide on how becoming a best-selling author will explode your online business. And it is ideal for the entrepreneur who has been in business for a while, has sold out their programs or booked out their calendar, and they're seeing all this hype about multi-author books, and they're going, well, what does it actually mean? What will it actually give me? What are the top 3 benefits, I suppose, for me as a business owner in writing in a multi-author book project? So it's the top 3 benefits of that. Super short, sweet, and to the point, just like me. So it's for those people.
I love it. And Tarsh, what about you?
I have the Disruptors Writing Festival, which actually kicks off in about 2.5 hours. So I have the link that I'm sharing for that. That goes until Friday, but the trainings will be available in there for a few weeks. Nice. And this is for the innovative entrepreneur, the disruptor who's ready to nail their writing and their messaging so that they can do what they're here to do.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you all taking the time to be here. And of course, thank you for who you are, the work that you do in the world, and the contribution that you're making. I want to remind everyone to pick up their copy of The Younger Self Letters. It's available on Amazon everywhere, and the hardback is available as well. So if you haven't picked that up, ladies,
Yes.
keep rocking it out. Keep changing the world. Until next time.
Thank you.
Oh, I forgot one last thing. You're going to have to do blow kisses again. If you want to be in our next book, The Younger Self Letters, it's perfect for coaches, consultants, and speakers, and you have an inspiring story to share, we'd love to hear it. There's a link to apply in the comments. All right. Have a great day. Until next